1. Hello everybody, Toaban here, and I'll be Planetarium. I'm still not gonna get the name right. It seems to be I'm gonna be continuing this joke. Alright, in the last episode, we found out that our character's name is Idoran, and we ended up just talking about the war, and she gave us a fright with the 1812 Order show? Oh my gosh. Anyway, let's see what happens next. ... And when I think all about that misery, it's just, I don't think it's something to celebrate. So, a lot of men died then, right? It's not that we celebrate it, so we don't forget their sacrifice. She nodded silently and looked aside at me. I think it might be something else. It might have been a send-off. It might have been a send-off to the men that went out. I mean, they had homes, families to protect. They probably believed that they had to do it to protect them. I mean, it can't be all without killing the other guy, right? They all had reasons, and, well, there's always something worth protecting, and sometimes you have to put your own neck on the line to keep it safe. ... Is that the truth then? Her curious eyes turned to me, expecting some kind of answer. I couldn't claim to have. Oh, there it is in the background. I would hope that that's the answer. It's hard to say either way, but... Going over these old texts, I found there are many truths in the universe. I think that one I can put my faith behind. Thank you for sharing. She flashed that declaration, tiny small smile at me. Appreciated? I smiled back, happy to get her out of her funk. A silence fell upon the cockpit, which is fine. I was happy to drop that topic. I wonder how many of you are enjoying me messing up these words. It occurred to me that I hadn't really looked outside the front of the cockpit in a while. Sure, it was hard to ignore, but I hadn't done any real stargazing in a few weeks. I turned my attention to the stars drifting off in the far distance. Bright stars, countless worlds, each one probably abound with its own form of life. The expanse of space is terrifying, but at the same time, wonderful. ... A little while later, Bypass accustomed me with a very unusual, very interesting question. Iteration? I have no idea how to say his name. Yeah? I've been studying the human concept of afterlife, you see. It's very fascinating to see what different cultures and races around the human world thought about what came after death. To experience the struggle that mankind felt as it fought against death. Grappled with the concept of the end. How they dealt with that huge, looming, demonic shadow that was mortality, that hang over them in darkness. I want to know what you think about the afterlife iteration? I'm not entirely sure myself. This is a very sudden question, and I don't spend my day-to-day life thinking about my mortality. We smiled in unison. Would you like to know what I would want in an afterlife? Sure. She sighed, looking off elsewhere for a moment before directing her gaze back to me, an admissional look in her eyes. To be honest, I don't want anything. What do you mean? I just want to sleep forever. Sleep? She nodded, continuing her stare. I admit that this was rather a strange situation, but she had a strange sort of sincerity that put me right at ease, even when I was several hundred steps outside my comfort zone. Yes, it's a concept that's foreign to me, but I like to experience. My breath caught. I knew she could sense my discomfort, whether driven by stubbornness or pure curiosity, I didn't know. What is it like? Elation? Sleep? Well, to be perfectly honest, I don't really know how to answer in a way that would make sense for her. It's relaxing. I imagine losing all your inputs for a long period of time. It's like that? Sounds scary. It's a time when you don't have to worry or even do anything. When you wake up, refreshed for a new day. I looked past her, back into the star-sculpted space, trying to censor my next sentence. It was difficult. That sounds better, but she trailed off, both of us already knowing what the topic was next. You want to know how it feels to dream? She nodded viciously, a giant seeming to her non-corporeal eyes that it was stimulating, to be sure, as if I stood a chance against their seemingly omnipresent thirst for knowledge. Oh, that's a cute image. Oh my gosh, I have to give the creators really, like the artist, it's really good. Oh my, that's, oh my gosh. Well, imagine the infinite number of places, an unending amount of different people, an insurmountable range of situations. Buddy, you can dream way better than me. Whatever the mind can think of. Exactly. It's different every time. Sometimes you can bring people whom you've met into the dream. Her eyes were wide, and I could tell that she was absorbing it all. Oh my gosh, the face. My gosh, so... Oh my gosh. Really? Yeah, your mind is open to everything around you while you sleep. So, I could have dreamed that we were both on a beach right now? You sure could. Oh my gosh. I can't... the facial expressions, oh my gosh. Her eyes unfocused once more as she seemed to mutter all over this, a strange feeling, fuzzy feeling to show her something insane to us, and yet unique and special to her. If only we could have met under dire conditions? We hadn't met. Distant by my thoughts, I couldn't hold back a yawn, and suddenly emerged within me. Instantly, she semi-translucent eyes darted right back towards me. Tired? I think so. I leaned back into my chair, the device auto-recycling for my benefit. Folding my arms, I prepared myself for another bout of sleeping aboard the silence drifting cockpit. Surprised he hasn't got him cabin fever yet. Though then again, he has an AI to keep him company. Directing my eyes back towards my companion, I noticed she harbored a very distinct look. She seemed unsure of herself. Is something the matter? Oh, no, I was just wondering if you could do something for me. What is it? I was wondering if I could monitor your vitals as you slept? Her eyes seemed to narrow as she realized that her request was a long shot. And what purpose would that serve? Well, when you dream, I might be able to experience it alongside you. Sure, I just hope there ain't any needles involved. She smiled, both enthused at my acceptance and amused for my independent fear. Yeah, needles are the worst. No, I assume that it isn't invasive. ... A small compartment opened on the dashboard near the right side. A small device appeared, complete with a wired electrical patch that looked like it was supposed to be stuck to the skin. Well, there it is. Just stick it near one of your veins. It will do the rest. Don't tell me it is an injection. Oh shoot. I grabbed the device, rolling my right cuff down. Carefully, I detached it an inch or two down my elbow and quickly sealed it to my skin. Simple. Off to bed I go. I sighed, softly closing my eyes. Good night, Elration. How many times have I changed the way I said his name? I took a deep breath. Good night. And with that, I slipped away into my own world, silently wondering if Biped would come along with me. Okay, hopefully that wasn't ... More dots. More dots. Slowly, gently, I sorted off to the coil of sleep. I opened one of my eyes, stretched, and noticed for once everything was silent. What a day was it again? We must have been on the last leg of our journey by then. I thought the very notion would make me restless, eager to get out of this cramped cockpit, bought a one-way ticket to the Alpha Conersation. But here I sat, counting the stars that drift by lazily. The atmosphere was quiet. It was air. I glanced aside to Bypass, who was starting to intentionally go beyond the stars. There was a look in her eyes I had difficulty reading. She was studying what was going on, keeping an eye out for other ships. She was so quiet. Normally she would be ratting about her latest discovery from the archive, or blasting off some old sound file she had come across. Boy. The silence that hung over the cockpit now, the absence of her cheerful embrace, lingered like heavy fog. I adjusted myself in my seat, grinding my teeth together quietly. Something about this was wrong. Elration. I peeled back my head. Her tone was serious, straightforward, yet underlying with a silent agony of shrugness. Our eyes met. Her eyebrows relaxed for a moment in response, before she turned again to the ocean of stars ahead of us. Did I ever tell you about the story of Palinurus? Oh, it's the name of the game. This is going to be interesting. ... I combed my backlog of memories. She described a great many stories to me in our journey together, but no, not that one. I don't recall. Silly question to ask, isn't it? She chuckled to herself. It was a low chuckle, a nose that struggled to come out. He was a helmsman, a navigator of the Trojans sailing across the sea, the Scali to Italy. A terrible storm before them. As they sailed under his guidance, they did all they could against the tempest, the wind and sea, but this was the fate had conspired against them. It was the will of the gods to subject them to this awful fate. The goddess Venus had come to the god of the sea, Neptune, pleading that the Trojans under planet Earth would be granted safe passage across the treacherous sea. She closed her eyes intensely. Her voice was quiet. Husband, she lowered her head. Pro morals deplay caput. One life shall be offered to save many. Those were Neptune's terms. Oh, don't tell me that Bypass is going to die. I really don't want that. She paused, letting out ominous cryptic message hanged in the air, hands clenched against the fabric of her dress. Oh, great, she's gonna die. And that is how Purpose met his end in the middle of that storm. The god of sleep descended upon him while he was at the helm, and with a branch he burst Palinurus, falling into the deep sleep. He was swept overboard into the chilling abyss. The branch had been dropped into the river of lint and Styx. The former caused completely forgetfulness. The later was promise of immortality. With nothing to save, he sank deeper and deeper into the ocean's depths, pulled down by Neptune's power. It was his power of his faith that allowed the Trojans to pass through the storm, throughout the sacrifice of one. She raised her head and looked up to the stars above. If there are gods such as those two out there, among all the stars and planets, there must have been a flaming, irritable bunch, huh? She chuckled to herself, but no joy could be heard from that laugh. It was distant, somewhere else entirely. She took no joy in sharing this story. Something was very wrong. It's been almost 4 weeks since we embarked on this journey. I stumbled upon that myth, and I've experienced so many things alongside you. I've learnt so much, had so many new sensations course through me. I'm not sure I'm ready to leave it all behind. I don't think I could forget that. She was speaking of our time together, of course. She didn't want to let those memories go. Wow, it's been about 4 weeks. She might have been truly alive for all that month, but for her, that's all she needed to live more than most humans could ever aspire to. With a wrenching feeling in my gut, we returned. What could have happened to her? Would they call her irreplaceable? Would they erase her program, clear her memory banks, install a new suppression chip? Or would they terminate her for being eternally, replace her with a new AI? She was prepared to return to her creators, to face termination, to ensure my survival. Oration, when I am gone, will you remember me, right? Don't talk like that. We're almost there, Bypassed. We'll make it out of this. When we get to the Alpha Frontier, you'll be with me. I won't let them lay a finger on you. You won't have to forget anything. You get to live, see more than just empty space and database. I don't care what it takes. We will see everything there is to see in this universe, no matter what fate says. Alright. Let's leave it here. If you enjoyed, please leave a like. Also subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you for watching.